This WBTV high-definition program is sponsored by Time Warner Cable. WBTV News Prime Time starts right now.
I saw nothing. They was basically, it just looked like somebody took a bulldozer and bulldozed every house down.
I mean, there's no houses left. I mean, everything is gone.
My garage is gone, my house is gone, everything I own is gone except for my bathroom, and it's going to be bulldozed real soon.
People are still alive, you know. We can rebuild. We can't replace people. That's the important thing.
First on primetime, it is pure devastation in Dixie Alley. Dozens of reported tornadoes. It is the deadliest twister outbreak in decades. Nearly 300 people killed. Entire cities are in ruins. People saw these giant funnel clouds and ran for their lives. Anything or anyone left behind really didn't stand a chance. We have a live report from our Steve Onesorge in Alabama coming up in just a moment. It is good to have you with us for prime time. Thanks for being here. I'm Maureen O'Boyle. The deadliest tornado outbreak in nearly 40 years. Deaths last night in Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Virginia, Mississippi, and of course, Alabama. And as the midnight storms rolled through, homes were destroyed in our backyard. Caldwell and Burke counties saw damage. 2 confirmed tornadoes in North Carolina, one in Morganton, the other here in Lenoir. This damage in Caldwell County. No deaths from these twisters, but lives were certainly ruined as the winds ripped apart family homes. In Alabama, the death toll is nearing 200 in that state alone, nearly 300 across the South. There aren't enough words to describe this unbelievable destruction in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Not just homes, but entire neighborhoods like this one, obliterated. Normally we'd say now the cleanup begins, but for a lot of people there's nothing left. Their stuff is just gone. Some of the tornadoes were a mile wide. WBTV's Steve Onesorge is live in Alabama tonight. And Steve, we've seen these incredible pictures, but describe for us what you see there in person.
Well, you have to understand, in most cases when tornadoes hit, they're hitting rural areas is what we usually see. But this time it seemed to be attracted to populated areas, developments where there's a lot of homes. Here you can see all of this debris on the ground, a home that's damaged. Down the street, at least one person was killed. There was a lot more destruction down there. People around here knew that there was bad weather coming. Some of them even had the warning, the tornado warning, just before it hit. And they knew it could be bad, but they never thought it could be like this.
For the people who lived through it all, the shock is still there.
You wake up and you walk out and you go, oh my God, this really happened.
Neighborhoods, entire communities that were there yesterday are not there today.
We were just, in shock, because I had never been through anything like this before.
Governor Robert Bentley toured the damage in Tuscaloosa. Tough to describe it all, he said. And it's not just about destruction, but the loss of life.
It's devastating. And it's so hard on me.
The governor says help is coming from all over, but for those who lost neighbors or loved ones, it is not a question of rebuilding, but a matter of how to start over.
We can rebuild. We can't replace people.
Now the cleanup, that's not even started yet. All of this stuff, well, it's going to hang around for a while as authorities go through what's left of buildings, homes, all sorts of places just to make sure there are no more victims. People now are trying to gather what belongings they can and trying to find places to stay. It's going to be a while before this area recovers. Reporting live in Birmingham, Alabama, Steve Onesorge, WBTV on your side.
Steve, I have to ask you this. What about the basics like food and water? How are people being taken care of there?
Well, you have to understand, it's not like a Hurricane Hugo where every street, every home in a city is damaged, a city the size of Birmingham. There are sections of this city that are untouched, where there are grocery stores open, where there is power, where there are places for them to stay. Now, authorities are trying to get all of the affected people out there. A lot of them don't want to leave because they don't want to leave their belongings behind in houses that are intact. Those whose homes have been destroyed, well, they are being taken to shelters and other places where they can stay, and there is food being provided for them.
We certainly feel for all those people touched by this. Steve Onesorge reporting from Alabama. Thank you, Steve. We want you to think about this. Over the past decade, the average number of annual tornado-related fatalities is 62. Far too many, obviously, but over the past day and a half, almost 300 people were killed by these storms in 6 southern states. You hear the talk about Tornado Alley, but this year, the death and destruction, the storms, they're taking aim at Tornado Alley's southern neighbor, Dixie Alley. Primetime's Jeff Atkinson has been crunching the numbers. So, Jeff, why this southerly shift?
Well, it's actually no shift at all, Maureen. This is what happens each year about this time, just never to this extent before. Tornado Alley gets all the attention, but the tornado season actually begins here in the south in a place known as Dixie Alley. It's our cover story tonight.
EF5 was actually... The numbers are mind-boggling, says meteorologist Kelly Franson. 654 reported tornadoes so far in April, and the month's not over. Those are preliminary numbers, likely to go lower. But look at this. Even if they do, it beats the previous single-month record for tornadoes, 543 in May 2003. Dozens in the deep south yesterday, which left scores of people dead. But this isn't Tornado Alley, where tornadoes are supposed to be. Or is it?
So this is a map that actually shows you, based on the time of year, when you see the peak.
The dark blue circle signifies where tornadoes show up in April and May. They're in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama. By May, June, and July, there's a shift to where we traditionally associate tornadoes in the Midwest.
There's really no difference on this map between the southern part of Tornado Alley and parts of what some people call Dixie Alley.
This map shows where they are in the course of a year. Why does it shift? How does it happen? In the early spring, the jet stream brings northerly cold air south, where it meets warm southern Gulf air and spawns the severe weather where tornadoes form in Dixie Alley. As the spring moves into summer, the jet stream goes north, and that violent activity forms in the plains, Tornado Alley. With so much devastation seen in the Deep South in the last 24 hours, we asked Kelly Franson how the extremely violent weather never made it here.
In this situation, by the time it got to us, it was out of phase. So as soon as you knock those different layers of the atmosphere out of phase, yes, you can still get the strong storms, but you don't tend to see the number.
Don't see the number of tornadoes, she says. April and May are big months for tornadoes in the south. April's about to break a record. Does it mean it'll continue into next month? The only thing we can say is it may or may not.
We hope it is over, because it's been intense.
Amazing.
Really incredible. And if you'd like more coverage of the deadly tornado outbreak to hit the South, we've created a special section on WBTV.com. We've got lots of information, stories, videos, and photo galleries. You just click on the weather tab and you'll find it there. Our high-definition tower cam shows beautiful blue skies, and it was really a nice afternoon once those winds calm down. And we are turning now to our First Alert Weather Center and Kelly Franson. And Kelly, that system is still around but not so strong?
It's still kicking over there in the eastern edge of the Carolinas. Still a tornado watch in effect. We'll take a look at that and what's next for our part of the Carolinas in your First Alert weather forecast.
And up next on Prime Time, the Carolina Panthers are on the clock. In 1 hour, the Cats make the first pick in this year's NFL Draft. Plus, a DNC 2012 update. It's a race against the clock to raise tens of millions of dollars. The fundraising committee is in place, but where will the cash actually come from? The answer coming up in just a few.